It's just gone a quarter to 2. If you're watching the clock, Sullivan Show taking you right through the afternoon. What a glorious day it is today. Sun shining out there, looks fantastic. The Southport Food and Drink Festival is taking place from the 14th to the 17th of May in Southport Town Centre. You'll find delicious cooking demonstrations, wine tasting and all things food and drink in the Town Centre Gardens on Lord Street. There's so much happening, and you can find out more online at www.visitsouthport, all one word, visitsouthport.com. The Southport Food and Drink Festival 2009 in association with City Talk 105.9. Still to come this hour, we're going to be finding out why the Welsh are so angry when they're in the office. What's the matter with them? But right now, story that we mentioned earlier on, Hazel Blears in the news. She insisted yesterday that she had broken no rules despite dodging an £18,000 tax bill when selling a London flat. The community's secretary made a profit of £45,000 when she sold the property for £200,000 5 years ago. She had designated the Kennington flat as her second home, which under Commons rules enables her to claim back thousands in mortgage interest and running costs. She admitted she did not pay capital gains tax, then charged a 40% when a property regarded by the taxman as not a main residence is sold. Miss Blears said no liability, quote, had arisen, indicating that she had simultaneously registered the flat as her primary home with HM Revenue and Customs. Joining me on the line now to talk about this into the news hour, MD of Armstrong Davis is Jonathan Armstrong Davis. Good afternoon, Jonathan.
Hi, Dean.
How did she get away with this?
Yeah, it's the simple capital gains tax rules that when you elect with HMR Customs and Excise that the second property is now your principal private residence, then from then on, you don't pay any tax on it. If you only have one home, then that is your principal residence. If you buy a second, then you can make a decision as to which one becomes your principal home. And the principal home, you pay no tax on the gains. And what's interesting,
so that's
of course,
that's how she's got round it then.
Oh, absolutely. So she simply moved from home 1 to home 2 to be her principal residence. And what's particularly interesting, the way the tax rules are, is that even in the first home that she's no longer had as her principal residence, the next 3 years after either having moved out of it or stopping it being your principal residence is also tax-free. So if you think some of these MPs, I'm pretty sure, they've probably had home 1 as their principal residence, then home 2 as their principal residence, and after 3 years, they then switch back to home 1 as their principal residence, because remember the rule, after you move out of a property or it no longer is your principal residence, for a further 3 years you're still not paying tax and gains. Switch that election every 3 years and you'll never pay tax on gains on property.
So she hasn't done anything illegal then, let's be absolutely clear about that, yes. But as far as, from a moral point of view, it's a pretty despicable thing to do, isn't it?
I think it's totally despicable.
Avoiding tax.
And they're all saying that they've broken no rules. Well, first of all, until there's proper scrutiny, we don't know that for certain. I mean, that's like the bloke in the dock saying, I'm innocent. Well, don't they all? And secondly, who made the rules in the first place? The MPs.
The MPs themselves. Do you think it's more widespread than we're led to believe?
That's to put it mildly.
How can these... I'm just asking this question. I'm not necessarily asking for your opinion on it, but I ask the question, how can these people hold their heads up high? They're supposed to be respected members of the community. What sort of an example is being set?
Sorry, I didn't catch that very last part.
I just said, what sort of example is being set by these people?
Absolutely. And, I'm the first to say that whatever colour they are, they're all a shower. I don't think there'd have been any difference whatever party would have been in power. I think every single party, every sector, and probably every single MP has claimed for something that in in reality they shouldn't have done. It's a bit like someone on benefits who's doing a bit of work on the side. And
I've read out cases, Jonathan, of people who've done exactly that. They've been working on the side and been claiming benefits, who've been sent to prison.
Exactly. They've been hounded till the cows come home. And what have the MPs done? They've fought tooth and nail to get any of this information disclosed in the press.
Well, I'm sure they've rued the day that they ever passed that Freedom of Information Act.
Well, maybe so, but actually I happen to think, and I imagine many of your listeners too, that was one of the best things that the MPs actually ever did, because then this kind of nonsense can finally come out. Do you know, I was watching the news at the weekend, and I was forever hearing the phrase, "We're altering the rules. We've noticed that there's a problem, we're altering the rules."
Yeah.
Well, when did they notice there's a problem? Only after it suddenly came out in the press.
Exactly.
It's been going on for years and years and years.
When they were being exposed. That's when they decided we better change the rules. Who made the rules? You put that question yourself. Who made the rules in the first place?
The MPs themselves.
Do you think these sort of people should resign?
I think if...
It'd be called for them all to resign who claimed expenses, or bent the rules. It'd probably be an empty House of Commons.
Every single MP's expenses should be investigated for, say, the last 3 years, and anyone who's got even 1% out of line should resign.
Absolutely. Jonathan, thanks for joining me.
You're very welcome. Good to talk to you.
Jonathan Armstrong-Davis there on that the second home tax loophole. Like I said, if you did it, if I did it, you'd be in trouble.